afternoon. So for physics 2, we're going to, or I prepared this video in order to continue our discussion even if there is no face-to-face lessons. So for today, we're going to discuss about current and resistance. So the last topic we talked about was all about capacitance and dielectrics. So we discussed in that specific lesson that when charges move from one plate to another, they create a potential difference between the two plates and allowing the plates to store charges. So nasabi ko din dun sa lesson na yun na when we connect the capacitor to a circuit, a closed circuit, the charges that is stored on one plate will now move from that plate to the original plate or to the other plate. So yung movement ng ating charges from one plate to another constitutes yung tinatawag nating flow of charges. So ano ba yung flow of charges? So we are going to discuss that today. So let's start with electric current. So electric current, or I, is the rate of the flow of charge Q through a cross section A in a unit of time T. So in a formula, we say I is equal to Q over T, or electric current is equal to the amount of charge that passes through a certain point per second. Okay? Means 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb per 1 second. Ang ampere is the unit of current. So again, 1 ampere is equivalent to 1 coulomb of charge passing through a certain point on a wire every second. So ibig sabihin, if we have, for example, 50 amperes, that means there are 50 coulombs of charge passing through a certain point in a wire in 1 second. Okay? So kung 50 amperes yan, 50 coulombs in 1 second ang dumadaan dun sa wire na yon. So in 1 minute, that means there will be around that will be 50 times 60. Okay, so that would be 3,000. Tama ba? Yeah, 3,000 coulombs of charge passing on that point of wire in 1 minute. Okay, so I hope na-intindihan natin. Okay, for example, again, the electric current in a wire is 6 amperes. Question, how many electrons flow past a given point in a time of 3 seconds? So again, 6 amperes. So ang tanong is, ilang electrons ang nagpo-flow sa isang point ng wire na yon in 3 seconds? Okay, so solve natin. So again, I is equal to Q over T. So ang tinatanong dito is how many electrons. So before we determine the number of electrons, kailangan muna nating malaman kung ilan yung charge. Ilang coulombs of charge ang dumadaan dun sa point na yon in 3 seconds. Okay? So ang maging formula natin, from I is equal to Q over T, i-derive natin yan, it will become Q is equal to IT. Okay? So, Q, ang ating I, ating current is 6 amperes times the time is 3 seconds. So, simply multiply that, 6 times 3, that would be 18. Paano naging coulomb yan? Kasi ampere is coulomb per second. So, makakancel si second. Okay, so 18 coulombs of charge ang dumadaan dyan. Now, we know that 1 electron is equivalent to 1.6 times 10 to negative 19 coulomb. Ang isang electron, ito yung kanyang charge. So, kung 18 coulombs yan, ilang ganito ang meron sa 18 coulombs? So, paano natin makukuha yan? Simply, convert. So, 18 coulombs. So, 18 coulombs times yung ating conversion factor, 1 electron is equivalent to 1.6 times 10 to negative 19 coulombs. So, pag dinivide natin yung 18 divided by this, so 18 times 1 divided by this, it will become 1125 times 10 to 20 electrons. Ganyan karaming electrons ang dumadaan dun sa point na yon within 3 seconds. Okay? Ayan. Sorry. It's 1.12 pala. It's not 1,125. Okay, next. Meron tayong tinatawag na conventional current at yung isa naman ay tinatawag nating electron flow. Okay. So, kung maalala nyo dun sa ating previous discussion, kapag sinasabi ko na kapag nag-charge yung ating capacitor, nag-move yung charges, positive charges from one plate to the other plate at doon sila naipon. Okay? So, ang tawag natin doon is conventional current. Bakit conventional current? Kasi doon sa conventional current, ang sinasabing nag-move is yung positive charges. Okay? At ang movement niya is from positive to negative. Okay? Kung maalala nyo yung dalawang plates natin, di ba? Sorry. Kung maalala ng dalawang plates natin doon sa capacitor, okay, sabi ko sa inyo, kunwari, uncharged pa yung mga yan, so mag-move yung positive charges from here, papunta dito, mag-iipon sila dyan, maging positive, ito naman magiging negative. Pag nag-flow yan, the flow will be from here to here. Okay? That is the conventional current. Yung electron flow naman na tinutukoy natin is kabaliktaran. Ang sinasabing nag-move sa electron flow is the negative charges or the electrons. So, ang movement naman ng electrons, so magmula dito, kung uncharged pa yung dalawang yan, mag-move sila dito, kaya magiging negative yan. And kapag hinayaan silang mag-flow back to their natural movement, syempre magkakasama yung negative dyan, magtutulakan sila. They will flow from negative to positive naman. Again, kasi nga attracted ang negative sa positive. So, ang movement niya is from negative to positive. Okay? However, ang karaniwan na ginagamit talaga natin in describing current is the movement of positive charges. So, electric fields and potential are defined in terms of positive Q. So, we will assume conventional current, even if electron flow may be the actual flow. Okay po? So, yung conventional current parang nakasanayan na kasi. Conventional nga kasi. And again, yung electric fields and potential is dinedefine siya in terms of positive Q. That's why ina-assume natin or ginagamit natin is conventional current rather than yung electron flow. Okay? Next, what is electromotive force? A source of electromotive force or EMF is a device that uses chemical, mechanical, or other energy to provide the potential difference necessary for electric current. So ano na itong mga devices na to? This could be power lines, battery, or wind generator. Ano-ano itong mga to? Ito yung nagpro-provide ng potential difference. Ano ba yung potential difference? Kung maalala ninyo, ginamit kong example dati ang battery dun sa ating discussion ng capacitor. Sabi ko, yung battery, nagpapump siya ng charges from low potential to high potential. So, gumagamit siya ng chemical energy. Okay, chemical energy in order to move charges from low potential to high potential. Now, pag na-move niya, yung charges na yun from low potential to high potential, binibigyan niya siya ng electromotive force. Okay? So, ganito yung analogy ng EMF natin. So, we have here an illustration of water flow. So, we have a pump, the water. Meron tayong area of high pressure. Meron tayong area of low pressure. And we have this so-called valve. Okay, yung valve is nag-open and close. Okay, so, anong ginagawa ng pump? The pump moves the water from low pressure, okay, sisipsipin niya yan, papunta doon sa pump, And si pump, ipapump niya yan to a high pressure area. Okay? Ngayon, ano naman yung illustration niyan sa ating electric current. Okay? So yung ating battery, it is the source of EMF. So ibig sabihin siya yung nagpa-pump ng charges. So it moves charges, okay, from low potential, okay? Ito yung switch, ito yung parang valve, siya yung mag-open at close ng ating circuit. So pag nag-close yan, the battery or the source of EMF, okay, will pump or move charges from low potential, papump niya yan, papunta sa high potential. Okay, itong resistor mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. Okay, so yung EMF natin, again, ito yung source ng voltage. Ito yung nagbibigay ng potential difference sa mga charges so that they can move across a circuit. Okay, so the source of EMF or the pump in this case provides the voltage or the pressure to force electrons through electric resistance or narrow constrictions. Okay, so it allows electrons or electric charges to move, okay, through a resistor. Okay, kung alam mo yung resistor na yan, pag-uusapan natin yan later. Kumbaga, ang EMF, siya yung nagkukos ng flow. It causes the flow of charges. It causes voltage. Okay, siya yung nagtutulak. Okay, again, ano yung pinagkaiba ng current sa voltage? Yung current, yun yung flow, pag-flow ng charges. Yung voltage, yun yung nagkukos ng pag-flow. Okay? At yung nagkukos ng pag-flow na yun is the source of EMF. Okay, so in the discussion of electric current, importante na pag-usapan din natin yung mga symbols na ginagamit natin sa mga electrical circuits. Electrical circuits often contain one or more resistors grouped together and attached to an energy source, such as a battery. So the following symbols are often used. For example, we have the ground, the battery, the resistor. Ayan, yung mga common symbols natin. Now, when we say electrical resistance, for example, suppose we apply a constant potential difference of 4 volts to the ends of geometrically similar rods of, say, steel, copper, and glass. Okay, so mayroon tayong 4 volts na kinonect sa tatlong rods na pare-parehong sizes, steel, copper, and glass. Ayan. Okay, the current in glass is much less than for steel or iron, suggesting a property of materials called electrical resistance. So, ibig sabihin, electrical resistance affects the flow of charges. Okay? So, sa case na to, kung makikita ninyo yung I natin, so ito yung I, this is the current sa steel. Okay? Ito naman yung current sa copper. At ito yung current sa glass. So, kung makikita nyo yung arrow para sa glass ay mas maliit. So, ibig sabihin mababa ang flow ng charges sa glass. Okay? Bakit nga ba? Kasi syempre ang copper and steel are both good conductors of electricity. Okay? They easily allow charges to move across them. Unlike glass, ang glass ay hindi ganun ka galing mag-conduct ng electrons. Okay, so ibig sabihin nun, mababa yung movement ng charges dito, ibig sabihin, pinipigilan ni glass yung pag-flow ng charges. Okay, and yun yung tinatawag nating electrical resistance or R. And meron tayong law na nagde-describe ng relationship between the current and voltage ng isang material. So Ohm's law states that the current I through a given conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference between its endpoints. So I is directly proportional to V. Ibig sabihin, if V is high, I will also be high. Okay, and since ito ay hindi equation, in order to make that an equation, we need to have sort of a a quantity that will make this an equation. So ano yung quantity na yon? That is R. So Ohm's law allows us to define resistance or R and to write the following forms of the law. So we have I is equal to V over R. So anong ibig sabihin yan? Sabi natin kanina, I is directly proportional to V. Ibig sabihin, kung mataas ang I, mataas din ang V. Or mataas ang V, mataas din ang I. So, dito naman, pinapakita, yon, yung relationship na yon, I is directly proportional to V, but inversely proportional to R. Okay, so ibig sabihin, mababa ang current kapag mataas ang resistance. Mataas ang current kapag mababa si resistance. Tatandaan natin, resistance is the resistance to the flow. Nire-resist niya yung pag-flow ng charges. So kung malakas ang resistance sa isang material, mababa ang magiging flow of charges. Mababa ang current. Mababa ang I. Okay? So from this formula, makakapag-derive tayo ng other formulas. We have V is equal to IR and R is equal to V over I. Okay? So example, when a 3 volts battery is connected to a light, a current of 6 milliampere is observed. What is the resistance of the light filament? Okay, so meron tayong battery that is connected to a bulb. Ang bulb na ito ay yung filament type na tinatawag natin. Hindi ito yung LED or hindi ito yung fluorescent lamp na tinatawag. So doon sa filament type na bulb, meron doong manipis na wire na pag nagdumaloy ang electrons dito, nag-glow siya. At yun yung naging source of light. Okay, so again, 3 volts yung ating voltage at ang current natin is 6 milliamperes. So question, what is the resistance? So, ayan yung ating diagram. We have the battery here. Battery, 3 volts ang ating voltage, 6 milliamps ang ating flow, and here is our filament. Yung filament natin ay isang parang kumbaga nagbibigay ng resistance dun sa flow. Dahil may resistance sa flow, naiipit yung mga electrons doon sa filament na yun, nag-glow siya, umiinit. Okay? So let's solve. So R is equal to V over I. So we have voltage is 3.0 and 6 milliamperes is equivalent to 0.006 amperes, or simply divide 6 by 1000. Okay, so 3 divided by 0.006 is equal to 500. And ang unit natin for resistance is yung ating unit ng ohm. And I think this is omega. Okay? Ayan. And the SI unit for electrical resistance is the ohm or omega. Okay, and 1 omega is equivalent to 1 volt per 1 ampere. So, ibig sabihin, kung 500 ohms yan, that means 500 volts per ampere ang equivalent yan. Okay? So, factors affecting resistance ng isang wire. So, first one, the length of the material. So, longer materials have greater resistance. Okay, pag mas mahaba yung wire mo, mas mataas ang magiging resistance mo. Okay? Ayan. So, kung makikita nyo, yung length, kung yung L is this 1 ohm siya, pag dinoble mo yung length na yon, becomes 2L, yung resistance becomes twice also, so 2 ohms din siya. Next is cross-sectional area or A of the material. So larger areas offer less resistance. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Pag mas mataba yung wire, ibig sabihin doon mas mababa ang resistance. Parang kumbaga sa ano yan, sa straw din. Okay, di ba? Sa straw, pag mas maliit yung straw, mas mahirap sumipsip ng liquid. So, kumbaga, mas konti yung nasisipsip or dumadaan na fluids doon sa maliit na straw kumpara doon sa malaking straw. So, ganun din sa ating wires. So, pag mas maliit, mas manipis yung wire natin, mas konting charges din ang magpo-flow, thus, mas malaki yung resistance. Pero kung mas malaki yung area, ibig sabihin mas maraming charges ang makapag-flow, then mas mababa ang resistance. So, for example, here, we have a wire that has an area of A. So kung 2 ohms yan, and we have, i-double natin yung area niyan, papalakiin natin. So kung makikita ninyo, A becomes 2A, so naging twice yung laki niya. And kung mapapansin nyo yung resistance, ay bumaba. Twice din ang baba niya. Okay, so from 2 naging 1 na lang siya. Okay, proportional. Okay, ano pa? Okay, the next is temperature of the material. The higher temperatures usually result in higher resistance. So pag umiinit yung ating material, tumataas yung kanyang resistance. Next, the kind of material force. Iron has more electrical resistance than geometrically similar copper conductor. So, depende rin sa materials. Okay, for example, yung iron mas malakas ang resistance niya kumpara sa copper. That's why sa ating mga electrical wirings, ang ginagamit ay copper instead of iron. Kasi kung iron ang gagamitin, mas mababa ang ang flow of charges. Okay, so mataas ang resistance. Next, resistivity of a material. So ito yung sinasabi natin kanina about the kind of material. So bawat material, meron siyang kanya-kanyang resistivity. So resistivity symbolized by this, hindi ko lang sigurado if this is Rho, is a property of material that determines its electrical resistance. Okay, so recalling that R is directly proportional to length and inversely proportional to A, we may write, ayan, so resistance is equal to the resistivity times length all over A. Or kung kukunin mo yung resistivity, resistivity is equal to resistance times area divided by L. Okay? So the unit of resistivity is ohm meter. Example, what length of copper or copper wire is required to produce 4 milliohms resistor? Assume the diameter of wire is 1 mm and that the resistivity of copper is 1.72 times 10 to negative 8 ohm meter. So ang hinahanap dito ay length. So but before that, meron tayong quantity na hindi pa nakukuha, yung ating area. So sinabi naman dito yung diameter ng ating wire, that is 1 mm. So ang formula natin for for the area of square is pi d square over 4. So we have here pi 3.1416 times yung ating 1 mm is equivalent to 0.001 meters, and i-square nyo yan, and then divided by 4. So we'll get area is 7.85 times 10 to negative 7 square meters. Okay, so now we have the area. So we can now determine yung ating length. Okay, so ayan na yung ating formula. L is equal to resistance times the area divided by the resistivity. Okay, so resistance natin, as sinabi na dyan, 4 milliohms or equivalent to 0.004 ohms. I-divide nyo lang yan by 1,000. So 4 divided by 1,000 is this, 0.004 ohms. And then, of course, the area is 7.85. Ito yung nanggaling dito. Okay, square meters. And yung ating resistivity is given na dyan. 1.72 times 10 to negative 8 ohm meter. Okay, so makakancel dito. C, ohm. And C, meter. At yung isang meter dito. So, ang maiwan dyan ay meter lamang. Okay? So, anong sagot? So, pag minultiply mo to dito and then divide mo ito dito, you'll get 0.183 meters. Okay. Pero din naman tayong tinatawag na temperature coefficient. So for most materials, the resistance R changes in proportion to the initial resistance and to the change in temperature. Ito yung rate ng pagbabago ng resistance to change in temperature. Gaano ba kabilis magbago? Or gaano ba kalaki yung pagbabago sa resistance because of the change in temperature? Okay, so the change in resistance is equal to alpha times the initial resistance times the change in temperature. So yung alpha natin, that is the coefficient. Okay, so the temperature coefficient alpha is the change in resistance per unit resistance per unit degree change of temperature. Example, the resistance of a copper wire is 4 milliohms at 20 degrees Celsius. What will be its resistance if heated to 80 degrees Celsius? Assume that the coefficient is 0.004 per degree Celsius. So we are given the initial resistance. Okay, we have the initial temperature and the final temperature. We also have the coefficient. Okay, so resistance, itong 20 at 80, ang gagawin lang natin dyan is ipagmaminus natin yan, 80 minus 20 in order to get the change in temperature. Ano yung pagbabago sa temperature? So 80 minus 20, that is 60. Okay, so ayan, initial natin resistance 4 milliamps, the change in temperature is 80 minus 20, which is 60. And of course, yung ating alpha, yung coefficient natin, 0.004 per degree Celsius. So, plotting that dun sa ating formula, kasi ang tinatanong is, what will be the resistance if it is heated? Okay, so ito yun. It is equal to alpha, initial resistance, times the change in temperature. So, alpha natin 0.004 per degree Celsius times initial resistance is 4 milliamps or 0.004 ohms. Okay, and of course, kahit hindi mo na i-convert. Okay, kasi ang lalabas din dyan is milliohms din lang. Okay, times 60 degrees Celsius. So, anong lalabas na makukuha natin? So that would be 1.03 milliohms or 0.00103 ohms. Now, alam na natin yung pagbabago or the change in resistance. So ibig sabihin, from 4 milliohms, madadagdagan siya ng 1.03 milliohms. So the new resistance will be, okay, yung bagong resistance, yung final resistance natin, that would be initial resistance plus the change in resistance. Okay, so that would be R is equal to 4 milliohms plus 1.03 milliohms. So ang bagong resistance natin ay 5.03 milliohms.